My siblings tried to make themselves CEO and CFO of my shop, so I made a plan to burn the company I grew up in my dad's workshop. He is 65 and a heavy diesel mechanic. On weekends, I held the light, fetched sockets, and learned the work. I went to university for mechanical engineering and commerce, struggled, dropped out, and traveled. My brother and sister went into investment banking and did well. When I was 23, I came back and started full-time with my dad. He had 2 part-time mechanics and 1 old service ute. I pushed us to chase commercial fleets and offer off-hours servicing. COVID hit, freight went wild, and we showed up. Revenue went from $250,000 to almost $7 million this year. My dad stayed on the tools while I handled quoting, scheduling, and parts. No one in the family ever came by or asked about the work. At his 65th birthday, my dad bragged about the numbers and jaws dropped. After that, my siblings called about a plan for the future. My dad said he wanted all of us in it. His idea was that I would get 40% and they would get 30 and 30. My sister wanted to leave banking and slide into a manager job. I said I needed time to think. They started sending proposals with no context. I was angry. My dad built the base, but the expansion was my call and my risk. I used his name, but I chased new clients, bigger rent, and night crews. My siblings had never picked up a spanner. If I needed a $200,000 manager, I would hire one with industry experience. I told my dad I did not want to report to a board made of people who think a spreadsheet is a wrench. He said it was his dream to have all his kids together. I felt the timing was no accident. It only got traction after the business took off. They called me greedy and entitled. I asked for an outside view because I did not want to blow up my family. I also said the business is hard to sell. We are a service shop with used utes and tools that lose value fast. The real value is relationships and how fast we show up at 2 a.m. when a truck dies. We met a family business lawyer. My sister and brother had been lobbying my dad for weeks. They pitched a 5-year plan where she would be CEO, he would be CFO, and I would be COO. They talked about standards and dashboards and never talked to our customers. I pushed back. I said the current business was half mine and half his, so any split should reflect that. I showed that the big salaries they wanted should instead hire more mechanics. My sister said everyone is replaceable. That crushed me. I carry tacit knowledge from years under lifts and in muddy depots. 27 mechanics are loyal to me because I back them on site and in pay. In the last 15 months, I won our 10 biggest contracts by selling myself as the guy who studied and still turns bolts. This industry runs on trust and phone calls, not slide decks. I decided to stop arguing. I would wait, watch, and think of options. A week later, my siblings came to get onboarded. They wore pastel polos to a diesel shop and pulled their hands back from grease. After the tour, I went to my parents' place. I pitched a slower plan with shadowing and junior roles. They waved it off. I lost my temper. I told my dad he had become a terrible mechanic for the way we now work. He is slow with new gear, avoids routine servicing on big clients, and misses steps on the iPad forms I built. He leaves tools dirty and out of place, so I pair first-year apprentices with him to clean up and check torque. It sounded harsh, but it was true. I also said I felt like the black sheep. My siblings were close, told me to finish my degree, and mocked the shed. Now the shed makes money and they want in. Then I made a choice. I visited a mentor who runs a logistics company and sends us work. I told him everything. He offered a $250,000 loan over 3 years to start my shop. I signed the lease at our old location. I spent my savings on 4 starter utes and $45,000 in tools. I called our 8 biggest customers and they agreed to move with me. That is about 65% of revenue. 7 of our best mechanics said they would come too. I copied our employment contracts from a clean template to avoid legal fuss. I know this will wreck the old business. I tried one more talk with my sister. She patted my arm and said I got lucky. My dad glowed about having all his kids in one building. It was not about greed to me. My title might have been boss's son, but I lived on the road with the team. I loved leading good people, fixing broken gear, and getting fleets moving by dawn. I wanted to keep building that with my dad, but the culture I built was already gone, so I chose the only path that kept the work alive. I signed, hired, loaded the utes, and opened the doors. Now my siblings are saying I'm ruining dad's dream. Was I wrong?